Welcome to the Fortress Fitness Podcast. Your hosts today are Clay and Aaron Snellgrove and Todd Sullivan. Today's episode is sponsored by the Supper Club, coming to you from Christiana, Tennessee. That's probably an issue you're not going to have.
No, I'm fresh this morning. I am fresh this morning. This thing is
nice.
All right. So last week we left off. I was gonna try to do toe spacers, right? So my goal was to do toe spacers every time I got in the sauna. So I got in 4 times. I did toe spacers 4 times.
How do your feet feel like magic?
Well, we're gonna give it a month and see. I'm adding a lot more running to my weeks. I say a lot more. That means like 1 to 1.5 miles over the course of a week instead of 0 miles. But so we'll see how.
It's 100 to 150% increase.
Right.
That's what you should say. Not like I'm doing a mile a week. You say like done 100% improvement.
Yeah. So next week maybe go for 2 miles if feet and knee feels good, but keep doing toe spacers. That is my goal.
Okay.
And I think I shot you guys a note about goals, right?
Yeah.
And I know that we have members in the gym, ourselves, we have personal goals. And, it got me thinking, you have a big goal right now.
Yes.
I don't really have big goals right now, so I'm trying to make little goals. But I think it's important to have goals. And Todd, when you're thinking about goals and even advising, maybe new member came in or even an old grizzled member just been hitting it for 3 years solid, and you can get a little flat. So tell me about, if somebody comes up to you, what would you suggest? What are some good goals?
Yeah. So first thing I think with goal setting is I like to work with somebody to create a big goal. And a big goal is different for all of us, right? A big goal is different. For somebody, it might be, I want to be in my first competition. So, okay, let's look at 3 competitions and let's look at the standards. How many of those do you meet? And then let's start backing up the performance metrics that we have to hit. So let's sub-goal it out. I really believe that big goal of I'm going to do my first competition, it can be overwhelming to a lot of people. But if we start making sub-goals of I'm going to do a mini competition, in the gym on a Saturday on my own or with 2 of my friends, I'm going to actively work, 3 times a week on getting those 2 gymnastics movements that I'm not good at. And then the next thing I'm going to tell them is share it with at least one person that's going to hold them accountable, that they love, that's going to pick on them, and write it down. Those 2 things each are going to make that goal 42% more likely, according to science. Yeah. And so big goal, tranche it out into monthly, weekly action plans, and share it and write it down.
Yeah, you mentioned competitions, and there's some cool local competitions within an hour of here.
Yeah.
I know CrossFit Rampage probably still does one every
There's
Christmas.
this coming up, beginning of December.
And, it's funny, maybe you go to Thanksgiving down in Georgia, I could tell my family, the CrossFit Rampage Throwdown, and they would be like, they don't even know what that is. But it's, those sort of milestones, it has to be important to us. And really, it could be me doing 100 burpees in 6 minutes. Nobody cares about that but me and who I tell and share with, who's going to support me. But, making it important to you, it doesn't matter how important or great it seems to anybody else, right? But the competition is a good one.
I think that makes a difference.
Well, and I like what you said, it matters to me. It might not be big, comparison is a thief,
Right.
So
Absolutely.
if you say, well, my goal is only to do a local competition and it's scaled and somebody else is trying to, earn their spot to someplace else, then how big is my goal? Well, I'd say it's still big, it's valid, it's takes you out of your comfort zone, but it's achievable. So let's call that a really good goal.
And I love the time frame. Yeah, it's usually maybe 3 months out, 2 months out. So it's not as daunting.
Yep.
Which got me thinking about, like you said, you've made a goal. You want to qualify for CrossFit Games.
I'm going
to cross, and every decision you make is like, is that going to help me achieve my goal? Is it not? Right?
Well, I think clarification of goals and the way that you say them, like we hear a lot of members, and I've gotten this trap as well, saying, well, mine is only this. And it's the language that we talk about with our goals that makes a huge difference, and how we talk to the members about it too, and anybody else. So if we allow them to say things like, this is only this, or it's not, it's perspective though, right? Like, your goal is important to you, and it should be important to those that love you and that are around you. But even something like the Rogue Invitational going on, I mean, there are a million people who have no idea what that is, but in our world, that's a really big deal, right? So if we treat everybody's goal like it's the most important thing, because it should be important, really important to them, it should be important to us to help them achieve it. But trying to make sure that the way we talk about it, I think, makes a difference on how much ourselves and other people are going after it. If we say, it's just this. Well, it's not a big deal when we don't do it.
Yeah, vernacular. So take out only and take out try.
Yes, exactly. Just get rid of those from your vocabulary. You're not trying anything. You're going to do something.
Well, I know that in the past, even just a small goal like a competition, it's sometimes hard to put that first and foremost, because in the back of my mind, it'd be like, I'm going to do this competition. I've got to be able to clean and jerk, whatever, 165 pounds 10 times. I'm just going to be standing there where everybody else goes.
I've done that.
And in my mind, it's like, well, I won't sign up yet. I'll see if I can get it.
Oh, man, do it.
It's because it's the fear of failure. It's like,
that's it too.
And it doesn't have to be a competition. It could be like, I'm going to get 100 double unders in a row, or I'm going to, hit the gym, 3 times a week for the next 3 months. Whatever goal it is, like, it sucks not to reach goals.
Yep.
Yeah, but you get more motivated. I mean, I'm excited. I shouldn't say I should say excited, but
and so whenever you go and hear people talking, maybe on the social media or internet, you're always getting a lot of people that have achieved goals, and but at the same time, like, we want to make big goals, and sometimes it's not going to happen.
But I think that's why it's so important that we make big goals and people see us both achieve and not achieve. And the reaction to not achieving is more important than when we get it. Because a lot of times we only make goals we know we can do.
Right.
Instead of looking at that more like a journey. And then when other people see you, and I don't think it's failing, but they see you not get what you want, how do you respond to that?
Well, and it might be failing. And I think we get so caught up in that word fail that we don't like it.
Yeah.
Failing something doesn't make you a failure.
No, definitely.
Right? And so failing is okay.
Yeah.
Fail fast.
Yeah.
Fail fast,
fail forward,
and learn, right?
Yeah.
So if you're not going to get it, fail fast and figure out a new way. Fail fast and figure out something that is truly achievable. Like, if I were to say, I'm going to make, my goal is to make it to the CrossFit Games next year, that's right where I'm at right now. That is an unachievable goal. I have not been working towards that. That has not been in my mindset at all. It has not been in my training at all. I haven't worked on the high level skills. There's things that I'm unable to do right now that I need to. So I would fail fast, right? And I'd come up with another goal. The next goal might be hit the top 10%. Maybe that's achievable, right? And so while I don't think that you should always have a plan B, I think that you should have if you learn that what you're setting out for at this time isn't achievable, replace it with a secondary goal that still pushes you hard. Like, I'll tell you what, if I were going to try to make the top 10% in my age group next year, I don't know. I mean, that's still a daunting goal. But man, that would be still something really hard for me to have to just totally change my schedule and grind towards.
Yeah.
And those are the things that I think we get the most intrinsic reward out of when we've got to grind.
Yeah, you have to work.
We talked a little bit about Atomic Habits. There's another great book. Angela Duckworth wrote it called Grit.
Oh, I've got it. I've got the hard copy and on Audible.
Book. I mean, Grit is that thing that's so hard to measure. But
thinking about just in the physical exercising space, I remember we got into running, was it 10, 12 years ago?
Oh my
15
gosh,
years ago.
When we got married, maybe? I mean, I was
We were
doing
doing
5Ks. Are you
5Ks,
talking about when we were like focused running or just running
so
5Ks?
we got, we were looking for ways to
longer ago than that.
Yeah, so we got into the
15
sort of
years
local
ago.
5K circuit, which leads you into doing some 10Ks. Then it's like, can I do a half marathon? Can I do a marathon? And as soon as you get in the marathon space, finishing a marathon is great, but usually if you played some soccer, basketball, or you ran cross country in high school, like you can achieve that goal, right? And then it becomes like the holy grail is Boston Marathon. And to get into Boston, you have to hit a qualifying time, right? And with my running background, and I got on the track, I could run a certain mile speed, and pretty much everybody around was like, oh, yeah, you'll be able to qualify for Boston, just do some training and whatnot. Aaron, on the other hand, they're like, you were built for power. Maybe it's
that's a very nice way to say that.
Nice segue into
maybe it's not in the cards or whatever. So, but of course,
that just made me mad.
That just made Aaron want to qualify for Boston, and I was like, man, I want to qualify for Boston. It'd be cool, right? So,
this is before CrossFit.
So
mostly,
so I failed to qualify. I ran 2 races. Now, looking back, I didn't know what to do, and that's sort of what I've learned is it's important to have a coach or an expert. Like, you can go on the internet and get plans all the time, but it helps to have somebody that really knows what they're talking about to help you achieve your goals without getting hurt, which I always got nicked and injured. But to Erin's credit, she made that big goal. We found a race that seemed pretty favorable to fast times up in Louisville.
It was.
And
I just didn't get it.
We were going to qualify. Now, had we had today's technology with the watches and stuff, it would have been a different story. But all we had was just a digital watch.
Yeah.
And so,
no idea
how long have I been on the course?
Yeah. and there was about a 5 mile down by the pier, the river, where the spectators couldn't be. So we lost her. We couldn't keep telling her progress.
He was there like every mile yelling at me.
And so she's sort of upset, comes out of that 5 mile sort of barren runners only area. And she's like, I missed it. And I was looking at my time. We still had a 5K left. I was like, I think you're close. Let's try to run it.
This is such an ouch.
So we ran a fast 5K, sprint up around this big smokestack, and then down a hill another 200 to finish. And so we end up finishing, and we had to wait until the scorekeeper could tally
this is before like actual, like there's less technology. So you're
get the
waiting.
chip time, and what was the qualifying time? You had to be 3 hours, 40 seconds.
No, 3 hours, 40 minutes, and 59 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she missed it by what? 4 seconds.
4 seconds.
Okay. So that was a huge goal. We probably spent year and a half, 2 years, like really thinking about that, training for that.
About a year and a half or 2 is after Canton was born.
Yeah. And then, try to get it back. And it just,
but I found CrossFit.
Right.
So it was all for a purpose.
That was a ton of time, a huge goal. We came up 4 seconds short. Like, when you think back, you made that goal, you didn't get it, put in a lot of time and effort. So thinking back on that, do you wish you'd never made that goal?
No,
what do you take away from that? Yeah. You know what I mean?
I ran like 10 sub 4 hour marathons after that. Like, that's huge. Yeah. And like, that made my, like, all of that preparation there, the stuff I'm doing now, like, it was foundational for some of that. I wasn't strength training, but like, it helps me right now where I'm at. And so could I sit back and just dwell on that? Yeah, absolutely. But there's no purpose in that. Like, there's so many good things that happened as a result of that failure of that goal. Yep. So maybe that's in the cards one day.
And failure sounds harsh sometimes, right?
Oh, I didn't get what I wanted.
So you failed the goal.
Yeah.
But I would say that you discovered a lot. You PR'd, so there was a win.
Oh yeah,
right?
I mean,
so there's some good things that come out of a failure. And I think that's almost always the case.
Now, did I think that 10 minutes after that race?
Absolutely.
No, I sat on the ground and pouted and had some peanut butter and jelly. But
well, and rightly so.
Yeah, but
for the peanut butter and jelly. Anyway.
So I missed huge because I would always.
You took big swings the first time.
Yeah, just didn't know what I was doing. So not being as close, it didn't hurt as bad, but it's just, I hurt my feet one time and had a hip thing, and then I look back and I wish I would just been like, God, I should have gotten with a coach. I should have gotten with somebody that knew what they're doing instead of just.
1986, I signed up for the
He's
Chicago
a huge
Marathon,
runner.
right?
Big time runner.
And I was cycling at the time, and I thought my cycling it'll carry me through.
Yep.
So the longest training run I had in leading up to the Chicago Marathon was 10 miles.
That's so painful.
And typically
1986, so low-tech fabrics.
Yeah. Oh, you're wearing cotton?
You know, an even less capable watch. You know, a cotton long sleeve T-shirt because it was, cold, 38 degrees at the start. And at mile 21, I stopped and got a 7-minute massage.
Did you?
So that my legs, so I could finish.
Oh my gosh.
I probably really ran 30 miles because if there was a camera on that side of the road, I was getting in everybody's pictures. So there's people all over America who are like, why do I have a picture of this dude? But
that was 1986.
1986. Great learning experience. Like, okay, preparation, key. I don't care if you're 19 and fit, preparation, key. Training plan, key. A coach, key.
Yeah.
Nutrition, I was 140 pounds at the time, maybe. So nutrition didn't affect me as much. I was built to run at that time.
Yeah, you both are built. We're built to run.
But
not me.
Again, failed all kind of goals, right? Like all kind of goals in that one event.
Did you end up running another one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hit a time that I wanted. I hit a sub 4.
Yeah.
That was my original goal. Yeah, I'm going to run Chicago. I'm going to run it in sub 4, and I'm not going to prepare.
Well, and I think that what you just said, everybody's goals, and we talk about like not taking anybody's goals lightly or for granted, and it's all about perspective. Because for one person, finishing a marathon might be the hardest thing that they have ever done, and the amount of time and effort and preparation they're putting in is no less than the amount of time and preparation for someone that does go qualify for Boston or that, wins a CrossFit competition. And so treating everybody's, goals is important, and having them learn how to say that they're important and not a comparison of goals.
And so, I've got a coaching client that I've been working with. We started on just running programming, been working with him for 8 years. Went from just running programming to everything, and signed up for the St. Jude full marathon.
Done that one. Yeah.
Had a goal of doing that, and he's a business owner and has a lot going on. And a month and a half ago, he's like, I changed my sign up to the half marathon. Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So goal is still to accomplish something to honor somebody else. How he's going to do it is different.
Yeah, that's
it's
okay.
13.1 miles versus 26.2. But where he's at in life, I think it's a better goal.
Yeah.
And where he's at in life, he's probably going to be able to function at work the following week, vice if he trudged through and knocked out that 26.2 and risked injury, or so being smart about goals.
The one goal I did get back in our running days, we started doing the 5Ks.
Birthday time.
And there's a community that does all these 5Ks. You start to meet some really cool people.
Yeah.
And
just like CrossFit.
I ended up, running fast for my age group. So I would sort of know the guys that were always around me. But when I first started out, I didn't know how to pace, didn't know how to run 5Ks. And there was a woman, she's probably 10 years older than me, Teresa Supe. If anybody's in the Murfreesboro running community, probably ran against her in the last 20 years.
She's really fast.
But again, 5'0" nothing. And here I was coming out of professional baseball, training, and I couldn't beat
I think
her.
she was a grandmother at that point.
Right.
I'm just pointing that out. Okay.
I would always start out, and she would always pass me in the last mile. So this happened for 3 or 4 5Ks in a row, and she was a great runner. But, I was younger, I was taller, and I was like, so I made the goal. I wanted to beat Teresa. Now, had I been fair to Teresa, I should have introduced myself and maybe told her, like, hey, I've got a goal to beat you sometime.
Yeah.
But no.
He didn't.
Instead of lurking on her shoulder near the finish line.
I didn't tell her that. And after I'd gotten some coaching from MTSU's cross country coach at the time, gave me some help with my pacing.
Keith?
Yeah, Keith
Yeah.
Foreman. And so one race, I just stayed on her hip. I got my pacing down, and unbeknownst to her,
She had no idea.
I did pass her and won a 5K against this grandma. So, you come into the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Now look, you don't have to tell Aaron, like, I'm going to see if I can, do the first set of wall ball with Aaron, or I'm going to see if I can do the first set of wall ball with Penny, or whatever.
Yep.
Sometimes just little goals like that, and it's over the course of a couple weeks or a couple months. And, it's always, I think, feels better if you do share that goal.
Yep.
But, sometimes you have a goal inside that's just like your 100 push-ups.
100 push-ups a day for 100 days.
It's like, and you make it really important to you, and if it's really important to you, it's really important.
Absolutely. And it's important to the people that care about you.
Yeah.
So have you started your 100?
Oh, no, I'm starting 30 a day for 30 days in November.
Okay. So we're done. We're not doing 100.
No, I'm not doing 100. I'm starting 30 for 30 because I think that's a smarter goal for. Yeah.
So why don't you put that out there for everybody?
So November, I'm doing 30 for 30. And you know what? It's, and any push-ups in a workout don't count. So, so I'm doing 30 dedicated push-ups for me for 30 days because I haven't focused on, I used to be a bodyweight specialist. That was my jam.
Yeah.
That's not my jam right now.
I may jump
on that with you.
Right?
3 sets of 10.
3 sets of 10.
Yeah,
right?
That's very good form.
And and if you're traveling around the holidays,
perfect. You can always do it.
Earn your coffee.
Yeah.
Get out of bed. I have to do my 30 push-ups before I get my coffee. Earn my coffee. Why not incentivize yourself to knock it out early?
Yeah.
Coupling, we've talked about goals, habits. If you couple things, if this, then that, what a win. Because now I get to go enjoy that cup of coffee and know that my work is done for the day.
Yeah, I like that.
So toe spacers for me in 30 push-ups a day, November 1st. That'd be next Wednesday.
Yeah. So, and I'll be, I'm traveling, so got to be before I get on my first 30 will be before I get on an airplane at 7:45 in the morning.
Ooh, that's
early. Right, so get up, earn my coffee, go to the airport.
So one thing I did want to touch on today that I just heard a podcast on this week was music and how music can affect mood, but it can also affect performance and training.
Well, you said something yesterday about this that was really interesting because I've heard that music can enhance performance, but
so
that specifically though,
and you actually had it right that perceived level of exertion and even performance and 15-20% increase if you're using music.
But not just
but they did find that you hit that maximum improvement when you choose the music, and it drops by half if somebody else is choosing the music. But it made me think about I like pop music, sort of like dance pop music.
We know.
And a lot of these
Backstreet Boys. Backstreet Boys, let's be honest.
No. T Swift, Justin Bieber, all that, right?
Are you a Swiftie now?
Oh, the new tour has turned me into a Swiftie.
There you go.
I'm a Swiftie.
If only you had daughters, you'd have a reason to go to the concert.
I can't go, but
guess what he's getting for Christmas, guys? We're getting Taylor Swift tickets.
But I know some of that music, it's upbeat, and it takes me back to times when I really enjoyed working out. So I keep listening to those same tunes. They're maybe 10, 15 years old. I keep pulling them out. Now, I will say, though, I have 2 songs I go to when I really need to dig deep.
Can I guess?
What do you think it is?
I think it's Thunderstruck, and I think it's Breathe by Prodigy.
There it is. And they're a little more angry, a little more intense, and they can pull a good 3 to 5 minutes of just full exertion out of me. If I don't have those, it's hard sometimes to find that. So
what about you?
Yeah, what do you like to go?
So honestly, I like Thunderstruck for this. I had a little iPod shuffle. I would go through the shuffle for the start of a race, a running race, and as soon as I knew that they were getting us lined up, that would start going. That was my beginning of a race song.
Was your race
that was my
really?
Yes.
To get you a guy
to get me primed and ready to right. Honestly, I just really like a strong beat now. I don't hear the lyrics as much. If I'm suffering, I love it when the song Bodies, let the bodies hit the floor.
Yep.
Sweep the Leg. Those are two songs that stand out. And I like those. And I think it's interesting that, it's if you choose the music, because I'm kind of the music Nazi here, because I'm not an explicit lyrics person. So there's a few people that get angry at me because of that, right? Like they want certain songs, and I'm like, can't do it here, right? That's just and I'm just, because I want this to be, family-friendly place, and the F-bomb to me isn't. But I really use music when I'm learning. I play classical for reading, and it helps me drown out other noises and stay really focused. And so that's where I'm really, really using music the most, is when I need to be concentrated in learning, or just concentrated and stay focused. Classical for reading.
Interesting. Okay.
Well, you're always finding good workout music. I've adopted a lot of songs from just stuff you find that I haven't heard of. Where are you finding these? Are you just on Spotify?
No. Usually it's other people. Like I am not up to date on pop culture at all. There was one song somebody played, and I was like, "This is the greatest new song ever." And
it was 4 years old.
No, it wasn't 4 years old. It was from 2003 or 2007 or something stupid like that.
I had yet to hear it.
I had never heard it, and I was like, "This is my jam." And no, I mean, I'm way behind the times. So generally, other people.
Other people.
Yeah, other people.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think it's cool that when you think of a CrossFit gym, we have just over 100 members. So there's over 100, favorite songs in here, right? And I tell people all the time if I'm playing like a 90s playlist and the song Shoop comes on, it's scientifically proven that you're in a good mood if you're shooping. And people will be mid-workout when I say that, and they're like, okay, here I go. And you see people, I think there are certain songs, especially for different ages,
they get tickled,
that just instantly bring a smile to someone's face when they come on. And it's fun to watch that.
Well, and I think maybe using music, you got a 5-minute drive to the gym. And I think I've gotten away from music too much because I'm
podcast or a book,
an audio book, a podcast. I feel like I got to be learning with my drives. Whereas if I'm on the way to the gym and I do it in the open, I start listening to music that puts me in a good headspace because I want to perform well. That should probably be more of my pattern throughout the year. Is just setting
it's an 8-minute drive. I'll tell you two things. When I coach the 5:15, I listen to Maverick City. It's a Christian group because I need some Jesus before I see people at 5 o'clock in the morning. So that is my go-to at 5. When I leave the house at 4:45 or whatever time. Another funny thing for music related was we had a workout that started with a row, ended with a row, and you started every 8 minutes. Okay. And so row, work, row, rest till 8 minutes. Kim had decided that she was going to make it an AMRAP, and her goal was to go from her last row into her next row.
Oh, wow.
Oh, gosh.
And she wanted that kind of a workout day. And I'm like, I think this will be great for learned pacing. Yeah. And she's nailed it. She nails it the first two. A song comes on in her third set.
Oh, no, it starts running too fast.
Oh, she just cranked up because the favorite song, you can see Kim's a powerful rower. She goes from, just this nice, easy to, a 1,600 calories an hour pace and in 2 minutes. And she finished 2 minutes faster than the first two rounds. She's like, "It's your music." And I'm like, no, it was your music.
Yeah, no, but that's right.
It was it was truly her music.
Yeah.
So it does go to show when that song or whatever comes on, there is performance change.
Is it like pleasure versus pain? Is that the idea? Do you think maybe a little bit of an extra dopamine release when you're listening to something you really love?
Sounds, they're all wired to our brain, and they all bring us back to different places. So
there's a lot of neuroscience.
We need people to comment their favorite. I mean, we've done this. We've started sort of another Fortress playlist. We've got some interesting choices on it. If people put it on there and we could make it happen, I did.
And I need
some new ones.
I need Drew to still throw a country song out there.
There are a couple, don't worry. But it usually is.
Sorry, John
Cosley.
Cosley.
Real popular. Usually, if that person's not here and it's one of theirs, we just go ahead and fast forward.
So a couple gym shout outs as we wrap up. I know that you've been throwing boot camp and your morning classes through some intense post-workout core.
Yes.
And I tell you, I got in on that one day.
Yeah, I was coaching that day.
Yeah, in a few days, like I just went too hard and I sort of bailed. And
you don't need to bail. You need to do the accessory work.
Yeah, I tell you, the core is like when you wake up the next morning and you can sort of feel where you've worked. Like there's some pleasure in that, knowing that you worked it. And man, I think we do ignore that sometimes. I know I do. And some of the stuff you're putting everybody through, I can't do yet. And I'm scaling it. And again, scaling's good. But yeah, kudos to everybody that hung in every day with that core work.
We're on day 16.
And I know you're doing a little experimenting just to let everybody see how you work core. So yeah, that's exciting. Another goal is try to stay into that core work maybe 2 times.
There you go. This week. Yeah, one of my fitness goals is I need to do at least 100 GHD sit-ups a week. So I put them in work. I put it in 1 or 2 workouts. And then I went to 150 a week. And what I've realized is the more I do it, the more insignificant it is, right? And you think, but you're doing more. But you build to it. You build that capacity. One thing on goals is, everybody in our Fortress family should have some goal, and they should. And a lot of times, if you're fairly new to fitness or CrossFit, you don't know what your goal should be. So talk to one of us. Let's kind of hash them out. Let's friendly debate. The level of that goal. Because I think a lot of times, if you're new to goal setting, you want to set something that is just rock solid and you can nail it.
Or sometimes people get a little too...
Or you can't do a pull-up yet, and you want to do a ring muscle-up next month, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, unless you're Chris Denton, and you walk into a gym on the first day.
But he could already do a pull-up.
Yeah.
So any gym shout-outs or any more, are you going to be still blasting core post boot
for the
camp?
next 3 weeks,
3 weeks,
because we're consistent. We're going all 6 weeks, those 5 days. It's there every day. But anybody could do, if they're looking for something to do, they can always just add it in, even if they don't. They have to leave. Some people have to leave class, 10 minutes early because they got to get a kid.
Take a picture of it. Go.
Yeah. And then just my birthday wad, which I'm really pumped about. I hope everybody else can get pumped about it. Maybe you make it your Thanksgiving wad every year. I think we're going to do it the Friday before Thanksgiving week.
So we're going to hammer everybody and then have Friendsgiving.
Right.
We wanted to do humility on that Friday.
Right. It's going to have to be Monday or Tuesday. It's going to have to be Monday or Tuesday.
And I wanted to shout that out. So we're going to be the first gym to prototype an up-and-coming hero wad called Humility.
Okay, so that'd be the 17th. So my birthday wad might be like the 20th.
20th or 21st,
Yeah, we're going to have a guest coach coming in that wrote this for a guy named Brendan Looney.
So that's the 17th.
Yeah, so, really cool.
Brendan Looney was a SEAL officer killed in combat in 2010. And it's a wad to honor him, and I think it'll be cool. And
we get to be the first gym to demo the whole thing, which is pretty awesome.
That's right.
Yeah, and then the next day is our gym gathering.
The 18th. Okay. Yeah, so clear the 17th, 18th, 20th if you're in town. Hopefully we'll see you.
And burn it to earn it on Thanksgiving morning if you're in town.
Yes, cool. The gym will have stuff here.
Burn it to earn it.
Good deal.
Thank you for listening
we'll hit our goals
to the
this
Fortress
week.
Fitness
And,
podcast. Don't
toe
forget
spacers,
to like and subscribe and
push-ups will
check
be
us out on our
starting
website,
Wednesday.
www.fortressfitnesstn.com.
Get on that with us.
And if you have any good songs, send them our way.
Songs, push-ups. All right.